Well, hey, everybody. Here I am again for another round. First, I guess we got to get the business out of the way. The channel in 2.5 weeks or something like that, pretty close to it, man, is doing well, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not an expert YouTuber, never did this stuff before, so I don't know if it's really good or not, but it's like 270 subscribers already. That's pretty cool. So do appreciate it for everybody that is subscribing and hitting the like button when you like a video. That helps the algorithm and helps boost it up so that more people get to see stuff. And again, I just appreciate it. Thanks very much. But down to business today, we're going to get into some rocks. You know, like I said, previous video, the last one on that build series, there's been a lot of people commenting they want to see scenery stuff and how to make different types of scenery. So a lot of this scenic stuff you see here, trees and grasses and weeds and shrubs and that kind of stuff, I don't have a lot of material on hand. Because when I finished this room, I used up so much of it, and then I got into the next room where I'm worried about bench work and wiring and tracks and basic landforms and things like that, that I just never replaced the stuff. So, I mean, I have some, but not enough for what I want to do if I was going to put it in a video. But I do have stuff to make rocks with, and I'm going to show you how I do it. And then I'll show you how I color them and how I place them on a layout. So, rocks, here we go. Okay, we're going to start right here at my scenery making station for stuff that I don't make at the layout, but make off the layout, then put on the layout. So anyhow, I think I'm set up to do rock molds. A lot of people already know how to do this, but so this is primarily for folks that haven't got into it very much, or they went and dug a rock outside and stuck it on their layout. You can do that, by the way. These molds are from Woodland Scenics. I have a bunch of them. They kind of look like after in the back. They're wet because I washed them. They're look like that from the front. I'm gonna set them here. You could probably take like a piece of wood and make like a little box to put these in. And I just never bothered because I'm lazy, I guess. I don't know. But they have a tendency sometimes to tip over once you pour your plastic in it. And then you have plaster running all over the place like that. So, we're going to try not to do that. All right, first thing we're going to do is mix up the plaster. I use plaster of Paris. You can use hydrocal. Woodland Scenics makes a lightweight hydrocal. I find is not as good as this. It tends to not set right sometimes, and it tends to get kind of crumbly after it's set. Plaster of Paris and regular hydrocal will dry hard as a rock. Rock, get it? So, this is what I use because it's pretty cheap. And Michael's is 5 minutes from my house. Every week I get a 40% off coupon, and I go up and get one of these for like $5. So, well, not every week I get one, but you know what I mean. Okay. The mixture for plaster of Paris for my molds is 2 parts plaster to 1 part water. It doesn't have to be exact. You don't need to be like you're baking a cake or something. If it seems too thick, add a little bit more water. If it seems too thin, add a little bit more plaster. But general rule of thumb is 2 to 1. What I use for mixing up is these rubber bowls. Pretty cool. You can squeeze them while you're pouring to get put into a proper spot you want to put them in. They clean up really nice. If you use a hard plastic bowl, they clean up horribly. So this is very cool. You can get them on Amazon, different sizes, big ones, little ones, medium ones. And they're not very expensive. So let me pour the plaster in here. That's my 2 parts Now I'm going to fill up this cup about halfway. That'll be one part. I start off mixing it real slow and get it worked in. Stop, mix a little bit, add some more, mix a little bit. Get her done, get her done, get in there. Once it starts getting mixed in, you can start putting the water in a little bit faster. It's starting to clump up. It's all right. Just slowly stir it and try not to slop it everywhere. I can be very messy, but I'm going to try not to be for this video, because that means that I have to stop it and go clean and restart it and then be annoyed. All right, once you get about like that, stay back, hopefully you can see it. You can check there's still lumps in it. Just going to keep chopping them up and stirring it. This is just an old metal teaspoon. Dollar General, 6 of them for $1 or $1.25 with inflation. All right, we're almost there. You can see the consistency of it. Still a little lumpy. Get her unlumped. Consistency is about like that. It shouldn't fly off the spoon, but it shouldn't be stuck to the spoon either. That's about enough. That looks pretty good. Good enough for government work, they say. Excuse me while I reach over and put that there. All right, now these molds. Remember I did the ballasting video? Water and dish detergent? Same stuff. Supposedly I was told it helps it to release out of the mold better once it's cured. I don't know. I've just always done it that way because somebody told me that once. And I have no problem getting them out of the mold, so I guess it works. I don't sop it, just spray it. Alrighty. And, yeah, that's good enough. I'm going to pour some of this in here, and we shall see how much I get out of it. I'm not going to fill up the whole mold. Now I have a smaller rock, that's all. I can just dump this down in there. And I forgot my spatula. Hang on. Oh, here it is. Hiding. All right, sorry about that. Just like you're taking cake batter out of a bowl, mixing bowl. And just throw it on in there. What's cool about the cleanup on these bowls? Do not rinse it in your sink. You will clog your pipes if you keep that up, those shenanigans. Best thing to do is just let it sit and set up. And then you can flex the bowl and crack it all out of there and throw it in your trash can. So, set that up there, get that out of the way, that out of the way. So there we are. I'm going to let this sit for about a day. So I'm going to go do other stuff. And in the meantime, I'll come back tomorrow around the same time and we'll get them out of the mold. All right. So that's a start. Good morning. Next day. Well, good afternoon almost. But here we go. Let's check this out and what occurred overnight. First of all, there's the bowl we mixed everything up in. And being this nice little rubbery bowl to clean it out. Go like that. Stuff cracks. And just can be dumped out. There's still some in there. Whoa. Vacuum cleaner time. Oh, there we go again. But just crumbles. You can save this stuff if you want. I have so much, you know, it's like I don't need it. But you could use that and dye it and use it for little stones. With some India ink alcohol. But I'm just going to ditch that. I have plenty of material already. Alright. Now to do that, I can just take a wet rag. It's handy having this sink right here. And just wipe it out. Clean it up somewhat. Doesn't matter if there's tiny bits left in there. But there we are, all ready for the next batch. Okay, throw that over there. And you can do the same with these rubber molds once you used them. This one I didn't clean yet. This one I did. That one's pretty clean. There we go. This one not so much, but we'll get to it. Alright, I think I showed in one other video quickly how to get these out of here. All you gotta do, I put my fingers and hands underneath it and just kind of give it a spread with my thumbs and pop it on up. Might need to help it out a little bit. There we go. There's that one. You can see, beautiful little rock formation. Snow White looking. Do this one. Pop that one out. And there's a different one. Pretty cool, huh? These are real nice. Over here in my other box, I have, this is made out of the same mold. If you can see on the left, you can really see it. So you could almost stack on top of like that. Could turn it around. Or if you're feeling aggressive, you can beat it up. There we go. Now I got two rocks. Ain't that awesome? Little pieces that break off, I save. They're smaller rocks. Now the next phase here will be to show you different ways to color them and make them look more rocky and not so weighty. That'll be the next stage. Let me move this video camera around. Alrighty. Let's take this little rock formation. We're going to do it my way. We're not going to make it brown. We're not going to make it tan. And we're not going to make it really dark gray. We're going to make it somewhat something like a lot. More of a limestone look. What we're going to do first, I'm going to take this neutral gray wash, acrylic paint and water. It's easier to do here at the workbench than on the layout, but I tend to like to do it on the layout better. But I don't know why. Maybe I'm just weird. You can do it either way. Do it at your workbench and take it over your layout and plop it on. But I like to do it on the layout itself because the lighting is a little different, and that affects how it looks. Just letting it run down, let some gravity do its work here. Just dabbing it on. Got some pulled up in there, I'll just brush it on out. Pretty snazzy, huh? Now to blend it in on the layout into the rest of the land that surrounds this formation. First of all, I'm going to stick it on into the formation of plaster I already have out there. And then I'm going to fill in with a product called Sculptamold, which is like, I don't know, paper mache on steroids. And you're going to mix up a batch and use it kind of like glue to hold it in. And I'm also going to use it to blend in the edges so we don't have these sharp, I don't know how to say it, like a sharp looking strange thing on your layout that just kind of bounces out like the rock would stick out and it wouldn't look like it's part of the earth. That's what I was trying to say. Sorry about that, my brain isn't working right, I guess. So anyhow, we got that wash on there. Now I'm going to take this, where is it? This light alcohol wash. And I'm going to go over it again and let it run down. Just adds another little bit of colorization. Let it run down, get into the cracks, into the crevices. Now we got something that looks like it could break somebody's window. Letting it run, let it run, let it run. Okay. So let's let it dry here for a minute. Actually, let's make it dry a little quicker. This is the only reason I own a hair dryer, because I don't have any hair. If I remember how to turn it on. Now, sorry for the racket. Now the next thing we're going to do is add some little highlights to it. And for this we're going to use the old dry brushing technique. Same technique I use on buildings and so forth. I'm going to take a... I'm going to take kind of a flat brush. And let's start with this desert sand. Dip some on the brush, like that. And I'm going to wipe off most of it, leaving just traces on the bristles. Lightly just drag it across. It's going to make the details pop when you do this, and also represent chipping and flaking. Just lightly dragging it. I'm not scrubbing it in or anything. Let the brushes hit the tips of the surface. Maybe kind of hard to see. Just adds another layer of realism to it. That in a nutshell. I could still go back and hit some other spots. But that's in a nutshell is how it is. See if that shows up good for you. This light is kind of strange. It'll look better on the layout. Looks kind of yellowish and brownish and grayish. But over here, if I hold it further away, go like that. Can you see? Looks pretty good. In fact, let me take the camera off and bring it down to it. Okay, we got the camera moved and we're back to the workbench. Normally, I like to do my colorization on rocks after they are secured on the layout. But for ease of videoing, and not having my head in the way and stuff, it's kind of easier to show you on the workbench first. But what I got here is, here's one of the castings. Now I'm going to color this various shades so you can see the different types of colors that you can use on rocks. Rocks are all different kind of colors, as you know. So you want to try to find a color that matches what you're trying to model. So if you're trying to do red rocks in New York, they wouldn't look very out of place. But if you're doing red rocks in the desert, you can color these with acrylics and ink washes and so forth in order to get the shades you want. This one I'm going to show you various shades on one rock. So after this is done, this rock will go in the trash because it will certainly look awful funky. But what I got here, I have in these alcohol bottles, 2 different alcohol and India ink washes. The one on the left, the smaller bottles, a dark wash, and the one on the right is a light wash. So there is really no recipe. To get just like a normal gray, I think is like a tablespoon to a pint. So a tablespoon of black India ink and a pint of isopropyl. I don't think it matters whether it's 70% or 91%. Seems like every time I go to the store to get a bottle of alcohol, they don't have one or the other. So I just grab whatever's there. And I haven't been able to see any difference. Other than, I guess, the 91% will evaporate quicker. I don't know. But anyhow, I put them in these little cups. There's the darker one. There's the lighter one. Then over here, there's a weathering mix from Hunterline called Creosote Black, which is funny because it comes out very gray, not black at all. And some acrylic washes with craft paints that I mixed with water. Here's a burnt umber. Here's one called nutmeg. And here's one called neutral gray. Over here, 2 different shades of a whitish that I use for dry brushing and highlights. So one craft paint here is called Parchment, and this one is called Desert Sand. So let me hook this thing up so I can have both hands free, and I'll show you what I'm going to do to this lovely little rock formation. All right, let me try to show you what these different colorizations that I mixed up will do to this chunk. Let's go with the dark dark India ink and alcohol. See how dark that is? There are rocks that look that dark, but it'll lighten up a little bit as it dries. So if you think it's too dark, just wait a minute. Now let me take the light India ink and alcohol wash. Let's go down there. Make a stripe. That looks more limestoney. Now let me take this one called this burnt umber and water wash. Whoops, sorry, got out of the frame there. Next we'll do the old nutmeg. Love the smell of nutmeg. I keep getting out of the frame. It is really hard to do these things with only one hand. And this is the gray, neutral gray acrylic wash. Yeah. All right, so those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you look at how well this stuff takes color, plaster is it, brothers and sisters. Really brings out the highlights. So I just wanted to show you what kind of colors you can use for your rocks. And you can use a billion other kind of colors. It's almost a whitish sandstone, like the, I don't know, the white cliffs of Dover in England are like that. You can come up with different shades of grays, different shades of browns, and try to create what you have in your head as to what the rock should look like in the area that you're modeling. Come up with all kind of different colors. But that's just a base color, and you can mix colors together and get various shades of stuff. So if I wanted to, let's see, let's take this white gray, and right in this area, light gray I said, didn't I? Right in that area. Put that in there. And then I can go over with a little bit of brown. And you get kind of a grayish brown. Imagine that. So there's all kind of stuff you can do. And it's just up to your imagination and whatever you think looks good. Go back to this. This looks good for my layout. That's what I'm going to use. That is, again, the neutral gray wash and a little bit of the light alcohol and India ink wash. Just those two colors created that. And then the highlights with the dry brushing of some of that white parchment and the desert sand. So there we go. Next we'll show you how I kind of put this stuff onto the layout. Now, next phase to stick these rocks into the layout somewhere. First I'm going to use this product called Sculpt-A-Mold. You can order it online, Amazon, you can get it at, I think Hobby Lobby has it, Michaels has it. Like I said before prior, it's kind of like paper mache, only better. Got little bit left in here, so I'm going to mix a little bit of this up quick. Ooh, that's a lot. That's too much for what I need. It's very clumpy and cloppy. That should be about enough. Excuse me, I'll reach over. I need my handy dandy spoon. I'm going to throw a little water in this. I don't know how much this is. Probably about a third of a cup of water maybe I put in there to start with. Get it all mixed up. And that's, wow, that did pretty good. That's about right how you want it. It's almost like oatmeal. A white gloppy oatmeal mess. So that's what we're going to need. Let's head over to the layout. This hillside ridgeline thing, whole way down, about 8 feet or so, is going to be mostly rocks like this. It's going to be like sandy, sand duney type stuff on the top, but since we're heading in toward a harbor and a bay. But for the most part, it's going to be a lot of rocks. So what we got to do now, this plaster cloth on there, all nice and hardened. Where I want to put my rocks, I'm going to soak it. We'll put rocks right in there. Let's just get that nice and wet. Now I'm going to take, let's see, we'll take this thing and we're going to give it a coat of this sculpt mold on the back. Spread it around. Actually, I should have wetted that first. Usually I wet the back of the casting. That's all right. This is going to be almost like glue to hold it in place. So I'm going to put some on the back. Figure out where I want it. It should be about right there. So I'm going to take more to sculpt the mold. Slop it up on, slop it up on there, not drop it. Get it in there, kind of smooth it out a little bit. I have a different utensil. This stuff, you have some working time with it. Maybe in about 5-10 minutes it'll start hardening up a little bit, but we got time. All right, that's just to start with. Let me place this thing. Get it up in there. Give it a little push into that stuff. There, it's not going anywhere. Spray the back of that casting. Get some more glop mold on it. It's alright if it squeezes out around the edges of the rock, it doesn't matter. This stuff actually will go over all of that at some point when I get to that phase. Let's say we want to put this, oops. See, I'm such a mess. Again, I'm working at weird angles. Thanks to this camera setup I got going on. So I should be actually over in here trying to do it, but we'll make it work. Keeping it real. If it starts to thicken up on you a little too much, you can always just mist it. And it looks like we're going to, I think I need a little more up in here. Let's take this and put it about right. Oh, I guess. Yeah, about right here. Push it in, let it sit. Got a smaller one here. Where do we want to put that? Maybe right in there. Let's just get it on. Yeah, let's just get it right in there. Now we can go around with some little ones, maybe down around in here. Oh, let's see, how about do that one there. Let's stick this one right there. So even using the same couple, just two different molds, you can create all kinds of different looking rocks. Let's throw another one right there. We'll toss another one right there. Well, for the heck of it, we'll put that right in there. See how it's squeezed out of there? That's all right. That's going to be dirt. It'll eventually be dirt and bushes and plants and things. So, that's the most basic way of doing plaster rock molds and getting them on your layout. Usually I will put them on here like this while they're still white before I colored them. Because when I do go back in onto the ground itself, I'm going to have to use some brown underpaint under it. And then I end up usually dripping it onto the rock that's already colored, and that's annoying. So that's the only reason. Usually I stick them up here. I get the Sculptamold all where I want it. I'll let that dry for a while, then I'll go in and paint the Sculptamold, and I'll go in and color the rocks all at the same time. But this is the way we're doing it today. So anyway, that's that. Well, that was more fun than a box of rocks. Huh. Sorry. Had to say it. But anyhow, appreciate you coming by. This video is, I don't know, it's a little wonky to me. Let me know if you thought it was wonky. There's some issues I need to resolve with getting the lighting right for these videos and getting camera settings right. And I got to play around some here for the next day, off and on in between things. See if I can make it a little bit better quality. I just seemed a little off maybe trying to do this. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But anyhow, I hope you learned something. It's kind of like rock making 101. This is, again, designed mostly for folks that are kind of newer in the hobby and maybe never did that before, or have done it before and maybe had bad results, and then this will help you be better. Hope so. Hope it helped somebody anyhow. But again, thanks for coming along. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for hitting the like button. Do appreciate it. And I just checked again, and I'm like almost 300 subscribers. That's wow. Thanks. Definitely do appreciate it. Next video, I'm not sure. I'm deciding whether I should just paint this backdrop, but at least get that out of my way, because I'm really tired of looking at it. And all this white, I'm really tired of looking at. So I need to get sculptor mold and 50 billion rocks on here. And the whole way around that way. So I'm not going to bore you by just videotaping me constantly just working on stuff. So, but as I come across things and little segments and things I can make and video wise, I will. So we'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much. Bye.